This person said, may I ask you to define mediums for me? I have worked with a number of different paints, firmer, softer, and used gels, additives to prolong workability and slow drying. Well, there's your answer. Gels are a type of medium. And we're gonna get like super just slightly technical here because I have to show you what separates a medium from a paint from an additive. So I'm gonna do a drawing. So if you were to look at acrylic paint on a molecular level, you would see these large spherical molecules. Those are the acrylic molecules. Now that there's no pigment in it, that's a medium. So it's acrylic polymer emulsion. So then when these pigment particles are added in, that's a paint. I know, this is science. Why do we need to know this? It'll make sense. But if you've ever watched my video, The Worst Mistake Acrylic Painters Can Make, I talk about the binding quality. What happens is the purpose of these molecules is to win, okay, wait, whoops. I'm gonna do a little H2O. These are your H2O molecules. Okay, there's water. This is super basic. There's a lot more stuff in here. If you're a chemist, you would know that. Pigment particles, water molecules, acrylic polymer molecules, which are the big guys. Anyway, so when it dries, what's super cool is it locks down into this hexagonal structure. So those big acrylic polymer molecules become this super stable structure, and they lock in those particles, okay? And so the acrylic, the paint is kind of embedded in there. What's happening is these molecules that were kind of floating all around have the water has evaporated, they've locked in together, okay? So when you have, when you add something that doesn't have acrylic molecules in it, like a retarder, or I have a flow agent here, those are called additives. There's flow improver, and then there's a slow dry fluid retarder. Those have none of those acrylic molecules. So that separates an additive from a medium. But basically, mediums are all those crazy things you see in the store. You go into the art store, you see rows of all these jars and bottles, and you're like, what? What is all that stuff? Pumice gel, you know, blended fiber paste, modeling paste, you know, blending medium. It's just crazy how many cool things there are. That's part of what my channel is about, is to help you understand all these things. Anyway, so when you go and see all these bottles and jars and stuff in the art supply store, those are mediums. And usually they'll tell you on the tube or bottle if it's an additive. But to be less technical, what is a medium? It's a fun thing that you add to your paint to get it to do different things. It could be to flow more nicely, to dry more glossy, to dry more matte, to have peaks. And we're going to answer some questions that go more specifically into mediums going forward.